and get moving, get the ball rolling. Okay, so tonight is March 28th. We have 3 days left in the month to achieve Success Club, to make it happen. And I know that everybody is really working hard towards making it happen. And I know that we're really focused on setting that and achieving that goal, because it's such a pivotal part of our businesses. You know, very honest in telling people that I'm really not sure how to help you when you're not achieving Success Club, because it's so rooted in the foundation of our business and in the growth of our business. It all starts with Success Club. So as you guys think about your businesses and as you guys think about those last couple days, I really want to make sure that it's clear that I'm going to be posting in the KB some tips and strategies that will help you hit Success Club in the midnight hour to complete the month. So, okay, let's go ahead and just start this call with the weekly announcements for the week. Our leadership retreat is set for the 22nd of April. This is for anybody who has achieved Success Club 10 and is ranked as a team builder or above in the organizational ladder. If you're not sure what that is, go into the FAQs and just type leadership ladder and find out what the criteria is for those. This is something that's been set for a while. If you're planning on attending the retreat in Deep Creek, Maryland, we're going to be with Melanie Mitra, we're going to be with Kim Carver, and we are just going to have a really kick butt time. Okay, so social media training, that is going to be geared towards the like page. We're going to be talking about how to grow a like page, how to really consistently build an audience on your like page, and how to gain an audience that is interactive on your like page. This is something that a lot of people struggle with, but they give up really quickly because they see a lot more success on their personal page, or they think, you know what, no one's really liking, no one's really seeing it, I don't really know how to change that. So throughout the month of April, that is going to be a really big focus for us as leaders, is that social media training is going to start. The National Wake Up Call. Guys, I make this something that is just done every week. I usually am not able to listen to this live on Monday morning because I have D and I have a lot going on, but I always listen to the playback. I always make sure that I am tuned into that National Wake Up Call, either the podcast, which is just the Team Beachbody podcast. You download the app podcast and just search Team Beachbody, and it's in there. They actually have another great podcast as well that I recently downloaded that is just Shakeology, and it's different information about Shakeology to kind of give you a little bit of armor about what Shakeology is, why it's important, how to use it, how to talk about it. So that is a great app for you too. I've had a lot of questions lately about the Every Sweat Matters. So if you're new in the team and you're not really sure what the Every Sweat Matters campaign was or what it really is, last year around this time we fundraised as a team and as a network. We raised close to $70,000 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And the Every Sweat Matters was just a hashtag that we used on social media. And it kind of became this great way of sweating for other people that cannot. I had to kind of take a break from it because I was finding that it was very emotional for me to read about all of the stories, everything that was sort of happening. And it was just hard. So I took a step back from the Every Sweat Matters campaign, and I've been talking with a couple other leaders on the team about it and how we can bring it back and make it more effective. So we are going to be posting in the KB, the new Every Sweat Matters. It is going to be a separate group. It's not going to be done in the Knockout Brigade. It's going to be a separate group that's available for anyone who is a member of the team, whether they're a discount coach, an active coach, a hobby coach. It does not matter at all. This is going to be a separate group where we just sweat for various people, but it's also sweating for joy too. So there's going to be a little bit more information coming with that. But if you found that the Every Sweat Matters was something that you want to be a part of, it's really sweating for something bigger. Just make sure that you check it out. This weekend is big in the Beachbody world. This is our Super Saturday weekend. So guys, events matter. They make a difference. It is an awesome thing for you to be in the presence of other people who are in the business, whether you're in Pittsburgh or you're somewhere else, find an event that is near you and make it a priority to be there. Get yourself out there. Learn about the new things that are coming up. Be a part of the trainings. You know, usually there's a live workout of some sort at these events. The Pittsburgh Super Saturday is going to be held this Friday, April 1st. It's going to be at, I went to say it too fast, not the Fluted Mushroom. It's across from the American Eagle corporate offices by the Hot Metal Bridge, if someone knows what I'm thinking of. If you guys can keep your line as you get on, that would be great. Let me manage you all, okay? All right. Okay. All right. So make sure you guys check out where that is. I know that these Pittsburgh Super Saturday is at 500 people sold, tickets sold. We have 800 tickets total available before it's considered sold out. So you do have a little bit of time. Tickets will be available at the door. They're $10 for coaches, $5 for guests. Gonna have a killer workout. There's also gonna be a small training. It's a great Friday night. Might as well get out, be around your friends, and just have a great time. Top producers of the week. You guys had an amazing week. There were lots of new names. Sarah Pierce had her best week to date. I'm so, so proud of her. We have lots of great stuff happening in the KB. What this basically means is a top producer is someone that has produced volume, which is sales of over 300 in their own organization, meaning their own personal sales. So this could be your personal orders or your customer orders. But you guys, everybody you see here had a killer week. That's 300 volume points that they have done on their own. If you recognize somebody's profile picture on here, make sure you give them a big, huge shout out for an awesome job. Early announcement, I just got this literally 2 minutes ago. This is our challenge pack sales for the month of April. This is awesome, but if you haven't achieved Success Club this month, make this month the priority. But if you want to know what it is, we're going to be putting a big emphasis on the club membership. So the club membership is going to be available for $140. Please also know that the Kickstart is available for $180. That's the one that includes the refresh with it. Hammer and Chisel is also going to be on sale for $160. And then those of you who are interested, the Ultimate Reset. I did this once. I blogged about it. If you go to katyursta.com, I did blog about it, my experience with it. I'll be honest, I probably did it a little too soon off of chemo, but there are so many great success stories. And this is one that took me a long time to finally make the choice to do it because it is a 21-day commitment. It is a little bit more expensive, and it's really a good one to do with a partner. So a spouse to do it with you and you aren't doing it alone. But what I like about the way that they advertise this in the spring is that in most cases, and I'm pretty sure it will be this year too, Carl Deichler does it, and they actually have a small group formed. And in that small group, other coaches who are also doing the Ultimate Reset kind of join Carl Deichler, and it's neat because he's like kind of like a coach in the group and just sort of sharing his experience with it. So if you yourself are interested in the Ultimate Reset and you want to actually talk to me a little bit more about it, I can give you a little bit more details. There's tons on Google. There's tons of people that have great experiences with it. But this is one that I do suggest at some point in your coaching career you do. I think Lindsay Stover just finished it not too long ago with some great results as well. So, and then Lauren DeHaven also is a great advocate of it. She really understands and gets the bigger picture of the Ultimate Reset. So if you want to reach out to Lauren, she can definitely give you more information too. Please also note that the Performance Challenge Pack is going to be from the Performance line. So with the Performance Pack, you get Recover, which is the drink that you use right after a workout, and you also get Energize. You get those two supplements instead of Shakeology, so in place of Shakeology. That is an option for you as well. So if someone says, well, I already have Shakeology, or if somebody tells you they're not interested in a meal replacement, this is another great option for them as well. So just know that that is available too. Let's just do a quick Success Club update so you guys see where everybody is, I am so, so proud of this team. Just look at these numbers of the people who have achieved Success Club thus far. This was updated this morning. Lots of great stuff happening in the KB. Lots of people that are really committed to helping people, committed to those 3 people a month, just working with them to make sure that they are getting results. These numbers are really lives. These numbers are people that are being impacted, that are being changed by the products. You know, I really think in my 4 years, close to 4 years of doing this, there is nothing that compares to what we have. We have the fitness, we have the nutrition, and we have the accountability. You know, you can talk about reps, you can talk about all of these other great products, but we are the full package. But tonight, even on this call, is what I'm going to talk to you is about how you can't undersell yourself. You are the secret to somebody's results. And so we are going to get into that. But I really wanted to make sure I stressed how awesome it is to see, you know, so many people committed to helping other people. And look at these numbers too. So if you guys look here, this is all of the people who are committed to helping others achieve results. They are working towards Success Club. So they are already committed to helping 1 or 2 people with just a couple more invites, with just a couple more conversations. Can we turn those 2s into 5s? Can we turn them into 6? Can we turn those 4s into 10s? You know, this is just about having those conversations with people and talking to people. You know, when I think Success Club, when I was in the midnight hour trying to get these points, I would get on the phone. I would get on the phone and I would talk to people about what I had to offer them, why it was different, and why this changed my life, and shared my story very openly with people about why Beachbody is different than anything else. But you have to believe it too. You can't just try to sell something without you yourself believing in it. You have to believe that this product can change people's lives. And if you don't believe that, look at the transformations that are not just in our team page, but are all over Team Beachbody, on Carl's wall, on Shakeology's wall, testimonial after testimonial. This isn't just Jared from Subway, one guy who like went and had a sub and lost some weight. This is hundreds and hundreds of lives that have been changed. How can we not feel obligated to pay that forward? How can we not want to say, dude, I've got the goods, can I share them with you? So guys, please reach out to the people you see on this list and say, I am so proud of you. I know that you can do this. Let's work together. If you see someone on this list that you know, push each other. You know, reach out to somebody on this list and say, let's do this together. Let's really achieve results together. Let's make sure that we're inspiring and changing lives together. So guys, hats off. This is an amazing list. It's going to be even more amazing in a couple days when I know those people are committed to hitting Success Club. All right. Okay, guys, tonight I want to talk to you all about marketing. I want to talk to you about how we post, how we talk, and how we go from being coaches who are just titled Beachbody coaches to this concept of owning a business and partnering with Beachbody and understanding that Beachbody has the products for us to be able to help people. So I really want to start with a little story. So in January of this year, I was kind of frustrated. I was feeling in my own business that I was losing touch with what we do best, with people, with challenge groups, with challengers. And I could tell that I needed a refresh, that I needed to recharge my batteries and get back to basics. You know, it's really easy to look at coaches who have been in this business for a while and think, well, they have success, so it must come easy to them. They must, not have to work that hard, or, they must just do it. And when in actuality, in January, I kind of thought to myself, I don't want to continue on struggling like this. Like I don't want to go month to month where I feel like, am I going to hit Success Club or not? And I always made that non-negotiable in my business. To be honest with you, I am at 40 months of consecutive Success Club. And I'm not saying this to brag or boast, but I'm saying this because that is why I am where I am. I am at 40 months consistently because I have said to myself, it's just what I do. You know, when I was a teacher, it was like lesson planning is just what I did. I had to get in there. I had to make a lesson plan. I had to teach the lesson plan. I had to reflect on the lesson plan. And every day, those lesson plans were bringing my students one step closer to where they needed to go, so that at the end of the year, they were where they needed to be by the standards. It's called backward by design, right? It's kind of genius. You think about the end. You think about where you want to be, and you're like, oh, crap, that is so far away. How am I ever going to freaking get there? And then you kind of go, oh, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little scared. Maybe I can't do this. But here's the deal. Just like with teaching, I wouldn't think about that end result. I knew what it was. I had in my mind what my kids had to do. But if I was focused on that instead of the small steps, the small lesson plans of execution that I needed to give to my students to be able to get there, I'd be lost. I couldn't do it. So tonight, I really want to just focus on these few steps for you to be able to apply to your business, and for you to be able to use in April, and for you to be able to close out the month. So we have to start with where we want to end, where we want to go. So maybe we're looking at the end of the year. Maybe we're looking at 6 months down the road. But I actually want to hone it in a little bit and talk about where we want to be at the end of a month. So I knew going into March that I wanted to have a very successful launch. I knew that I wanted to have at least 20 new challengers, 20 new faces. And I knew that if I was going to have that, I was going to be able to get them results. I was going to be there to every step of the way help them achieve results. But I also knew one more thing, and this is just from experience. When you have a group of people who are together to win it, and they are excited about a program, and they are all on the same page, they kind of create this bond, right? They create this, for me, it's almost like a sisterhood, right? So right now, I'm in this 22 hardcore group. We decided to run it through the app, and this group has really formed a great bond. And I know it's a great bond for results in their fitness, but in my mind, I'm also saying this would be great for business too, because they're already forming these success partnerships, right, with one another. So when we enroll them into Coach Basics, they're kind of already knowing each other. They know how to push each other. They know what works for one another. They know how to motivate one another. So it's twofold. So I have that in the back of my mind. I'm thinking of where I want to end the month. Make sense so far, kind of? All right, so here's what I did. I said in February, Katy, it is okay if you take a step back. And it is okay if you have a slower month, if you are really preparing for something bigger. And that's exactly what I did. So what I did in February to close out the month and make sure that I achieved my personal success club goal of 10 was I made sure that I created an ad that was going to be for 2 or 3 women who needed to lose 50 plus pounds. And I explained to them that the challenge group was going to be run through Facebook Messenger. And this type of group was just going to be the 4 of us. And we were going to slowly work with one another, motivate each other, inspire one another, and closely, in a close-knit group. So I would take the posts that I had, for a regular challenge group, but I would apply them in the message. And so every day on this message thread, we're just messaging each other back and forth. We're just, hey, how are you today? Are you drinking enough water? Are you making sure that, you are back from vacation and that you're getting your workouts in? Hey, I know that you had the day off. Are you going to be able to get an extra workout in? So we're able to really talk to one another in a more close-knit group. So I knew in February to close out my month, I didn't want to start a big challenge group, but I needed something to invite to. So that was my invite. My invite was going to be close-knit. It was going to be a specific person, a type of person who maybe would be intimidated by running or being part of a challenge group with other people who didn't have a lot of weight to lose. So I thought of that. All right, so then what I did is I looked at March. And I'm going to show you guys this real quick. I got a whiteboard, and I know you guys can't see the specifics of it real quickly, but I got a whiteboard and I mapped out a couple things. The first thing that I mapped out was actually what I was advertising on every day. And then what I would do is I would say when my challenge groups would run. So my ads would be before the challenge groups. But what I did was I mapped it all out so that I knew on any given day what I was inviting to. You know, I think a lot of times when we're struggling, when we're like, I just need to hit this goal, we don't really have a plan. We're just kind of winging it. We're like, well, maybe there'll be another group. Maybe there'll be a challenge group, or I'll create a challenge group if I have enough participants. Start with your end in mind. Say to yourself, when are my challenge groups every month? And if I'm a new coach and I'm not running one, have I touched base with my upline to ask her when her challenge group is going to be so that I can make sure that I'm adding my customers to it? So that's the first thing I did, was I mapped out my month. The second thing I did was I acknowledged any kind of challenges or obstacles that were going to be in the way. I was on a 10-day vacation. So I knew in my mind I was not going to be very good at advertising. I was not going to be very good about being in touch with my challengers. I knew that I had to get my Success Club points before that point. So that meant that I had to run my challenge group before I got to that cruise. But I also knew that I was going to be talking about the lifestyle of coaching while I was on vacation. Something we all can do, you know. I think it was Liz Holly. I don't know if you guys follow her. She had a great post last week, great blog post. And Liz, if you're on the call, if you could share that blog post with the team, that would be awesome. About how she was able to afford Disney passes, annual passes for her family because of Beachbody. You know, those little victories that you have, you want to make sure you're sharing as well. And that's what I mean by take advantage of what Beachbody has to offer. Are you sharing those elements? Are you sharing the little changes, not just the physical results, but maybe the mentorship? Maybe the opportunity you have to work with other coaches, or the opportunity to be part of ongoing challenge groups. The other thing that I want you to keep in mind is you have to think about what Beachbody has to offer. So at the beginning of February, when I realized that we would be launching 22 Hardcore, I kept thinking, okay, who is this going to benefit? You know, who is going to love this program? Well, when I was teaching, I was really busy. I couldn't finish the second month of Insanity because it was 55 minutes and I didn't have 55 minutes. Tony Horton, I think he's a trusted guy. I'm pretty sure he can get people results. I think it's for people who are busy. I think it's for people, you know, who are on the go, people who aren't really sure how to eat, how to meal plan. I want to work with those kind of people. So I took advantage of the fact that it was a launch. And what I said with the launch was two things. Number one, the launch participants have an opportunity to win $500. Bingo, right? Because they do. When somebody submits their results to Team Beachbody, you have the opportunity to win, in this case, the coin. But in the other cases, if you have amazing results, guess what? You can win $500. Pretty awesome, right? And then the second thing I talked about is being part of the beta test group, which we would be using for the first time with the Challenge Group app. I never thought that the Challenge Group app would sell the way it did. But what I found was people cannot log into Facebook when they're at work. They can log into their Facebook group. And the app, you guys, if you have not used it yet, I freaking love it. It is easy. You can see exactly when people have checked in. You can private message people from there if they've fallen off track. It's right on your phone. It's fan-freaking-tastic. So I took advantage of a couple things. I took advantage of the fact that there was a launch that they offer $500 cash back, or I'm sorry, $500 to win. I took advantage of the new app. Think and brainstorm, what are the things that Beachbody offers that I can take advantage of, that I can use when I'm marketing, that I can use that's going to make it not just a program, not just a shake, but something awesome for people. Okay, so in your heads right now, you should be thinking, all right, what can I take advantage of? Okay, so then what I did was I created a plan. All right, so I knew that my challenge group was going to start, and I have to look back at my calendar. I knew my challenge group was going to start preseason on the 7th. That was for 22 hardcore. I knew that was going to be my focus. So on the last week of February, I launched a free boot camp. Now, this is why I have as many success points as I have. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. The free boot camp was everything for this. People love free. People love giveaways. People love anything where they feel like they're squatting, where they're working their booty, where they are working their abs. So if you can come up with content for a free group, I highly suggest it. I ran this free group off of my like page, and I, as Katy Ursta, was the co-host of this group. So I'm going to show you guys something real quick on here. If you go into your events tab, click on it real quick. And I'm just going to show you the free boot camp that I had. Very basic. And then the posts were all the details of what they had to do to join. Step 1, you've got to like my page. You can't be part of the group if you don't like my page. 2, to request access to the private group, you had to make sure that you shared this event with other people. So I think for this one, I had a minimum of 5 people that they had to share it with. I believe it was 5. And then the third thing that I asked them to do is along the way is I would have giveaways and stuff for them to be able to invite. So I'll just show you guys. This was an event that was leading up to the challenge group. So I started with just me. I did a little video of who I am, like, you know, what they can expect from it. And then I told them exactly what they were going to see, exactly what they needed to do as a reminder. And then I gave them a little bit more information. Just every day I would post there. I would share something. I would give them information about the recipes that they would be receiving in a free group. All of this was done in the free group, just blog posts, lower ab workouts. I did a giveaway, and then I talked about the reminder to make sure you liked the post, that you invited people to it. So once this was up, once you've logged into the group, you were then part of the free group. So this has now become my free 5-day fighter fast track group. But it was originally the Booty Boot Camp. And so within that free group, every day it was a workout. Every day it was a recipe. It was points for sweaty selfies. And so when I was focused on that, when I was focused on my free group, guess what happened? People were like really interactive. They were really excited. They had given me referrals of people that I would have never met because they were part of a free group. Make sense, right? Hold on, let me get that. Yeah. Katie, so you keep the event group. Yep, I just changed the name. Yep. And so the only other thing that some people were asking me is they were asking me, what was it? Oh, if I let other coaches in it. Honestly, I don't filter it, and coaches tend to be really interactive. I've never had a problem with coaching or anything like that. And they also are realizing that my attention goes only to customers or my personally sponsored or coaches in my downline. But I don't mind other coaches being part of it if you run into that as well. And then one more thing, I think you can see it. I actually deleted it because it was the Booty Boot Camp. But I did a thank you. I started writing thank yous when people signed up as challengers. And I would say, you know, your free gift is on the way. And I sent everybody, I think it was Michaeline that suggested it. It was like a $10 gift card to Lowe's. And I sent that to them. But I also had a thank you. So what people were seeing was as people were signing up for the challenge group, they were like, oh, she's doing it. That's interesting. Maybe I should do it too. It was like kind of just that idea of maybe I could be successful at this as well. Maybe I do want more information. Did I get it all? Yeah. Yep, no, old participants can stay. And I actually tell them that, Jenna, at the end of the challenge group. I actually say to them, I am going to change this into a new group. If you are interested, you can stay. If not, you can delete yourself from the group. So, and most people stay. I mean, there really wasn't a big difference in it. All right. Okay. So then what I did was I knew that the free group was getting me my Success Club points, right? So my advertising was done within my free groups. I was talking about 22 Hardcore within that free group. I was talking about 22 Hardcore in the event page. I was not talking about 22 Hardcore that much on my like page. In fact, I think I ran one post. It's called a dark post. If you're doing that social media training, next month, you're going to learn all about it. But I did one dark post about 22 Hardcore, and that's it. And so that is really how I was able to get my points for it. So after that, I didn't run another challenge group because I knew I was going on the cruise. I understood the obstacle. So what that allowed for me to do was spend the rest of the month focusing on advertising for coaching. So I was talking to my challengers. I was advertising new people. I was conversing with people about signing up as coaching or for coaching, and I was able to talk a lot more comfortably about the lifestyle. But that was my specific strategy for the entire month. Is I created the plan. I knew what was going to be in my way. I knew where the struggle was going to be, and then I followed it through. And this is just a tip. If you feel like you got stuck, create the plan and just see it out. You know, if you committed to running on challenge group on the 11th and it's the 9th and you have no one interested, you still made a commitment. You run that thing, whether it's you and your mom in there. Like, you run it. That's what business owners do. You know, you don't just fly by the seat of your pants. You actually, when you plan it and you commit to it, you do it. You follow it up no matter what. Okay. All right. So who do you think you are talking to? So here is really where I've started to realize that I'm finding a lot more people like me that are really interested. So I really started focusing on talking to people that I want to talk to, because it's my business and I want to work with people who are goofy. I want to work with people who have a hard work ethic, and I want to work with people who are just fun, but they have really big hearts too, because that kind of stuff is really important to me. But that's important to me. What matters to you? Start thinking about your avatar. And Taylor did a great video about your avatar. She did a training on how to create your avatar. And your avatar is your person that you're talking to. It's the person that you're kind of speaking to when you're posting, when you're just when you're just giving motivational quotes. There is a specific person that it's going to inspire, that it's going to touch. So let's talk about who that is. All right, if you guys have Pinterest, what kind of things do you pin? What kind of things do you like? What kind of motivation do you like? Do you like silly? Do you like, biblical? Do you like, things that are more serious? What kind of things do you like? If you go onto your YouTube channel, what are the last 10 videos that you've watched? Are they motivational? Or are they funny? Are they stand-up comedy? Or are you working on your Beachbody business and what you see is business-minded posts? And specifically, what kind of motivation were you looking for? In your Google search, what are things that you Google? What are movies that you like, books that you like, songs that you like? Those are the kind of things that are going to make you think, this is who I'm talking to. Stores that you shop at, are you Banana Republic? Are you H&M, Forever 21? What matters to you? What are the kind of places that you would find yourself? And then think of 10 things. And this is really where I encourage all of you to get out a journal and think about this. What matters to you? What really is the kind of thing that keeps you up at night? What is the kind of thing that pisses you off? What's the kind of thing that inspires you, and what matters to you? And I think that we get so caught up in how everybody else is doing that we forget why we are doing it. We forget why we started. So you have to go back to what matters to you. And going back to that means you're getting back in touch with why you started. And when you're back in touch with where you started, all of a sudden, Success Club isn't as hard to reach. All of a sudden, it's easier for you to find the person that you're speaking to. But it's being about being real and authentic. So I see Beachbody coaches do this all the time, where you sell the product. You know, like Pio's on sale, or 21-day fix is on sale, and they slap up a big picture of the containers, and they're not even in the picture. They show Shailene Johnson, but they're not even in the picture. And they're selling Beachbody. Beachbody doesn't need you to sell them, because they already do a really kick-ass job of selling the products. I mean, we're a billion-dollar company, right? We're not even global yet. That's a whole different story. But if you don't know the company you're part of, you are part of an amazing company that's going places. And I'm telling you right now, we're on the verge of some amazing things. But that's neither here nor there. You aren't selling Beachbody, though. They do that for you. They do that for you. So instead, focus on selling you. Focus on selling you and how the products have worked for you. Go back through your timeline and check. Am I selling myself? You know, am I really showing how Beachbody has worked for me and for others, for my challengers? Do I do that consistently? Do I talk about that enough? You know, do I talk about it in a non-salesy way? You know, just a, by the way, matter of fact kind of thing. But that's the kind of person you want to talk to, because whoever you're talking to, trust me, they don't want you to sell to them. They want you to show them. And the only way you can show them is by giving them examples of how it's working in your life. Think of it as just like a normal conversation you would have for someone. If you were having a conversation about Beachbody with your very best friend, without any desire to sell it to her because she's your bestie, what would you say about it? What are you proud of? You know, did you have a great weight loss? Do you feel really good? Do you feel confident? If you don't have your transformation yet, what is it about the challenge groups that you love, where you feel inspired? Or maybe you've had financial success. Maybe you're like Liz and you were able to afford Disney for your family, you know, or maybe you were able to pay for the groceries this week. You have to start showing that kind of stuff unapologetically. Unapologetically. Yes, you're proud to be a Beachbody coach. But that's not all you are. That is not where the story ends. You are simply somebody who has been a believer in the products and the programs. Ask yourself, do I show people that? Do I show people that I am a believer of these products, these programs, this coaching opportunity? It's a lot easier to sell something when you care about something, when you're passionate about it. If you're just trying to sell it because you're trying to make $32 commission, they're going to smell it a mile away. Okay? All right. So, yes, we know our audience, right? So we just talked about that. We have to talk about our list of 10. And that's what I'm encouraging all of you guys to do, is to go back and write, you know, the 10 things that you stand for, that matter to you, that you love. And that's going to make it easier to talk to other people. So you know your audience, right? Here's the other thing. Know your intention. Know what you're going to post about and why you're posting about it. You know if you are running a challenge group, is it in the back of your mind? Is it in some way talking about the challenge group? Maybe not directly. It might be indirectly, but is it in some way giving people that little thought, that little, I would almost call it like a breadcrumb. It's just this little breadcrumb, this little detail where people pick up on it, because that's where you really get results, is through the breadcrumbs, and through the little pieces of information that you drop out there. But you have to be intentional with it. You know, you can't just post a picture of Pio and then say, well, I'm doing a 22 hardcore group. And you can't just talk about coaching over here, but your coach internship isn't for a month. You can't talk about 22 hardcore and then, you know, not be doing 22 hardcore. You have to be intentional with it. You have to really get real with what you're trying to sell. So when you're posting, you're saying, okay, what's the bigger purpose of the post? Okay, I'm going to talk about Pio, but why am I talking about Pio? Okay, I'm going to talk about Shakeology, but what am I going to try to say about Shakeology? And who is my audience that I'm trying to talk to? You know, am I talking to people who are always on the go and they could just grab their meal and their meal replacement and go? Or am I talking about people who need to lose weight? Or am I talking about people who need to cut the cravings in half. Be intentional and know, okay, what's the purpose of my post? And to be honest with you guys, my inspiration doesn't always come to me when it's convenient to post. A lot of times I write out my post in my notes in my phone, or I write it out in my notebook. I'll be like, oh, that's a good post idea. I'm gonna come back to that. And so the idea is already there. I just haven't let it come, to fruition, or I'll finish the post later. But I have the idea, the basic idea written down. Know what you would or wouldn't want to see. Think about it. When you're scrolling your news feed, what do you stop at? What do you scroll right by? That's a big clue as to the type of post that will work for you, is knowing what you would or wouldn't want to see. Ask people, ask your friends, ask your family, why do you follow me? Ask someone like, what would you like to see from me? Do a post on your wall and just basically say, what is something that you would love to see in my newsfeed? Like, what do you want to see in your newsfeed? What is cool stuff that you like? Ask people. You ask people what they want to see, they'll talk to you. Ask an opinion question, they'll give you opinions. Even if you don't want to know it, they'll give you opinions. Ask people. Just ask people. The other thing I encourage all of you to do is ask people you're close to what your strengths are. Because when you can kind of get in touch with what your strengths are, it kind of builds this confidence in you, and you can kind of find a way to harbor it into your posts and into your purpose and into what you're trying to overall do, what you're trying to sell, what you're trying to offer other people. And ask them for that. Ask them for that list. If you're somebody who's really good at writing, let that be a sign that you can write posts, but maybe it's that you just need to work on shortening them. If somebody says you're really good with photography, master that. Like, create pictures. Hannah Ederline, she's on our team. She is a great person to follow. Her pictures are always like, stop. You just stop and you look at them and you're like, wow, that's really good. And that's another thing too. Like, with your pictures, don't go with a lot of try not to use a lot of words or like fancy, colorful fonts. I tend to find that the ones that do the best are the very plain images, and it's the word, the text that actually has people stop. But it has to be like a very colorful image, but not like a lot of fonts and prints and all those like fancy borders or anything like that. Okay, and then the jab, right hook is where we have to be consistent with it, right? You're not just throwing out Beachbody all the time. You're not just talking about Beachbody. You're being consistent with all of those things that we just talked about. So maybe you're known for, your motivational workout in the morning. Maybe you're known for your motivational quote. Rachel Harvey on our team does stuff with coffee all the time. And it's over and over and over again. And it's consistency. It's because people build a following with you when you're consistent, trying to post near the same times throughout the day, twice a day, maybe 3 times a day if that works for you, but it's constant. And when you give those little jabs, those little snippets of information throughout the month, knowing your intention for what you're marketing, knowing your intention for what you're trying to sell or what you're trying to advertise for, your right hooks come really easy, because the whole time those little jabs have kind of been like breadcrumbs. They've kind of been like breadcrumbs for a bigger purpose. Okay, so I gave you guys samples of some posts that I have done that have worked really, really well. Let me see if I can show you guys a couple more. I'm going to go in here. All right. So I'm just going to show you guys some things that I do. And you guys know that my business is run primarily through my like page. Now, understand that your like page, it's kind of a beast, because some posts just don't do well. Some do great, some don't. But I kind of am learning my audience and what they want to see. And they really love humor. So I give them humor. I just put funny things up there. They understand them. That's a jab. Like, my audience wants to see the jabs. They want to see those kind of posts that are just kind of quick and funny. And then I did an invite today. This is just another jab. I talked about You know, if by boys to the yard, you mean that my milkshake brings me energy, regularity, weight loss, healthy hair, nails, all natural with 70 superfoods, no fillers or artificial crap, then yes, my boys are all up in my yard. So I'm like showing them my personality, but I'm also talking about my milkshake too. It's an indirect invite. It's kind of giving them that little snippet, that little breadcrumb of information without being too much. Lifestyle, talking about the refresh. What else? I have an application. This is a right hook. So I have an application for people. This one I'm just going to share with you real quick because I've actually gotten a couple applications from this. And it says, I was just looking for some extra income to pay for the groceries. That was where I was before Beachbody. Picture this. You run the grocery store for basic dinner, balancing a purse, a gallon of milk, a bag of frozen chicken, and a fussy baby. And then I tell my little story, but I'm talking to the person that I know. I'm very intentional with the post. I am talking to the person I was before Beachbody. I am talking to the mom who is just getting by, because those are the kind of people I relate to. Those are the kind of people I connect to. So is this post going to work for everyone? Absolutely not. Are my advertising posts going to get less likes? You bet. But it's still going to be that right hook. It's going to be that little intentional post of, this is what I have to offer as well. And so I just use that same formula over and over. I talk about lifestyle. I give people a little breadcrumb into my life. I give them motivation. I give them recipes, and that is it. But it's consistently. It's consistency over time, being able to do that. But it's intentional too. So you are now not going to see me talking about coaching as much. I'm going to move to challenge groups. I'm going to talk about transformations. I'm going to share testimonials. I'm going to talk about my current challengers, because that is what I'm advertising for next. I am going to be talking about 22 Hardcore because that's the program that I'm doing. I'm going to be talking about my own experiences. I am going to talk about how it's changed my life. I am going to talk about where I started with insanity. Because if I'm intentional with what I'm posting and I'm sharing it, it's going to be just easy to transition when I do the advertisement for it. Or when I send people a private message and say, this is what I'm doing. Do you want to be a part of it? But the free groups too give you another platform as well to reach a new audience, and a platform to talk to people that you may not have otherwise known, or that you may not have even seen on your like page. That is a great place to start. So technically, if you're looking at the calendar, start a free group next week. Start your challenge group the 11th. Run it for 5 days. And just this whole week, be intentional with your posts and talk about that. Talk about the free group. All right, let's see what else. Okay, so how to own April. Let me finish up with this before I totally lose my voice. First off, set your non-negotiables. I've been honest, I'm being upfront. I'm telling you right now, Success Club is always my non-negotiable. Always, 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 always. It's first and foremost. So if you want to own April 1st, let's own March. Let's finish the month strong. Let's hit Success Club in March. Let's make that happen. That's your deadline. So by the 30th of this month, I think it's the 31st of this month, I'll be at Success Club. That's my first deadline. Set your non-negotiables. Say, okay, in the month of April, what do I want to be able to achieve? I want to sign 5 coaches. I want to rank advanced to Emerald. I want to get my Shakeology paid for. Whatever it is, you have to set those non-negotiables. You have to set the goal, because you have to work backwards. You have to set the goal first. Second, get into a training and hook up with a success partner. Somebody who is on those leaderboards, who is where you are, that you can push to get to the next level. Trainings next month. There is a vitals training. There's an emerging emeralds training. There's a coach basics training. There's that social media training. Whatever you need to get into a training, because when you're into a training, you're invested in time with your business. You are focused on your business and putting it forward and working it and knowing that you're moving it forward. Put your new unique spin onto whatever it is you're advertising. If it's a free booty boot camp, well, what's your slogan for it? What are you going to work for it? you know, my unique spin on 22 Hardcore, it was the app. It was the $500. And it was, they got a free gift when they signed up. And it was a Lowe's gift card for their sandbag. Put your unique spin on it. Are you going to, you know, are you going to launch the app for the first time? Maybe you haven't used it yet. That's a great way to do it. Supply it and demand it. So supply and demand, right? You say to people, this is how many people I am taking, and this is what you need to do to be able to participate in it. And don't back down from it. But at the same time, keep your word with it. You know, if you're running a challenge group and you're committed to your challenge group, invest your time in your challengers. Make sure that they're seeing results. If they are not posting, text them, message them, ask them, hey, what is going on? What's up? Supply your best coaching to them and demand from them that they're invested in results. Because when there's that understanding between you and your challengers, you're going to be able to talk very confidently about it in your on your wall, in your messages as well. And lastly, my biggest tip of advice for you is know exactly what you are inviting to. Too often we just throw up an advertisement, message me for details, but we don't know what the details are. You know, if you're trying to finish the month, is it worth it for you to really focus on working with 2 or 3 people? Possibly. You know, do you have a challenge group starting on the 4th of the month? Can you do a giveaway at the end of this month? But know exactly what you are inviting to and don't waver. Whether you have 1 or 10 people in that challenge group, if you said you're going to do it, you do it. You run it and you say to yourself, no matter what, that's a non-negotiable. I'm going to do it. So I am going to stop the share, and I barely have any voice left, but I have to ask, do you guys have any questions for me? Because I know this was a ton of information. No one? Kirsten, I feel like you want to say something. I know I look beautiful right now.
No, I think, no, it was all good.
Okay.
Good stuff.
So the free groups, right? I have to be honest, I never really ran them. I never really thought of them, but there's a call that somebody did, Sarah Brett did at the beginning of the year, and she talked about free groups. So I remember I was like, okay, I know there's a launch coming in March, so I am going to take Sarah's thing and I'm going to call it a boot camp. And I'm going to run that boot camp for 2 weeks before the launch of 22 Hardcore. And that's exactly what I did. Is I focused on the words boot camp. I focused on short workouts. I used the terms that would easily lay over and transition into 22 Hardcore. So guess what? When people were starting to see results in the free boot camp, I knew that it was transferable and they would be more motivated and more inspired to do the 22 Hardcore. And that's what happened. And then again, with the supply and demand, when they started seeing like the thank you notes as people were signing up, it became like, oh, I want to do this too. You know, this sounds really good. I think I'm going to do this as well. And so that helped too. But the free group, you know, I really it's not something I ever thought really much about before. But because I have seen it make such a difference this month, I really think it's worth the try. Even if you kind of take a little bit of a step back, if you're really focused on the free group, I think it is absolutely worth the time to do.
Katie, I want to hear your 3 truths and 1 lie.
Okay, 3 truths. I have to invite every day. Personal development is your game changer. It's the easiest thing in the world not to do, and it's the easiest thing in the world to do. I know I am off when I am not reading personal development. My 3rd truth is that I feel very obligated to pay the blessing forward. I know that if you are consistent with the 3 vitals, without a doubt, you will be successful at this business. I guarantee, I lay my life on that fact. If you are consistent with your 3 vitals and you're hitting Success Club, you are going to be successful. And the biggest lie I have heard is that it always goes up. That's the biggest lie I've ever heard in this business. Like any business, it has peaks and valleys, and you have moments where you doubt yourself as a leader, where you doubt yourself as a coach, where you doubt yourself as a challenger. And in those moments, that's where I find that you have to dive into personal development and get back in touch with your why, because your why is always going to be what drives you. Doesn't matter if your why is to pay the groceries or to run $1 million company. You know, your why matters, and it matters to you. So that is the biggest lie that I've ever been told in this business. So I won't ever say it to anyone else. So, yeah. Cool. Anything else, guys? All right. So I know it was lots of information. I have a couple things I'm going to post in the KB. It is recorded, and we will be set. Let's finish this month strong, guys. You can do it. 3 more days. We've got this. All right. Have a great night.